Hi, in this video, we're going to answer the question, why is having a fixed mindset a hindrance? We're going to look at what a fixed mind is, fixed mindset is, and understanding what it is and the characteristics of it is going to help you find that motivation that you need to begin to shift from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So in this video, first we're going to begin by defining what a fixed mindset is. Then we're going to look at the psychological impact of having a fixed mindset and what some of the hindrances are with that. We're going to look at its impact on your relationships. We're going to look at its impact on learning and intellectual growth. And lastly, we're going to look at a real life story. So what is a fixed mindset? Fixed mindset is essentially the beliefs that your intelligence and even your skills are fixed. They are kind of who you are. There's no real benefit to working hard or anything because your intelligence can't improve. Your skills really aren't going to improve. So with that belief, you tend to see a challenge and give up on it. You don't persist because there's really no point in persisting. You tend to not see the benefits and learn lessons from other people because they're them and you're you, and you can't really improve. So, they have that because that's who they are, and you are who you are. All right, so, fixed mindset, you obviously, I think, could probably see how that can be a hindrance because if you're afraid to take risks, why bother? Your mind, your intelligence, your skills are fixed. There's really no point in working hard. There's no point in looking at somebody else and trying to learn from them because it's not going to do you any good. So with that beliefs, you don't take those risks. You don't work as hard. You give up easier. Your employers notice that. Your peers notice that. Your relationships suffer. Your job performance suffers. You don't achieve the levels of success because you are not taking the actions necessary to achieve that success with those beliefs that you have about really there's no point in doing it. So imagine yourself with other people who have a different viewpoint, right? They tend to work harder. They tend to push through these obstacles. They're the ones to get noticed and all. That will impact your relationship with them. You begin to tend to maybe even feel a little guilt. You begin to kind of point blame because you don't really want to look at yourself and see that that you are the issue or your thinking is the issue. So all of those things are going to really have a negative impact on your ability to achieve any sort of dreams that you have. If you have them, you haven't even given up on those because that's another hindrance of having a fixed mindset. So you also want to think about as you grow professionally and personally, it becomes important to learn. You're constantly learning, right? We go to a job, there's new opportunities to learn new technologies, new things. You want a job advancement, but when you believe that you aren't capable of learning, that your intelligence is fixed, you will not learn as easily. Again, all those same characteristics about giving up in the face of setbacks and all will hinder your ability to learn, right? It impacts your curiosity. It impacts your desire to seek out and know and to understand. It impacts how you go about trying to remember. It impacts all of those aspects of learning new skills because you are essentially telling your brain you can't. And when you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. So let me tell you about Andy. Andy was, when he first came in our program, he was a sixth grade student. Um, he was socially awkward, didn't do well in school. He was trying to cover up for some of his insecurities by being a class clown. He was a likable kid, but his stories that he told himself, family stories that he told himself, did not lead to academic or social success in a school setting. He had your classic fixed mindset. This was especially evident in math. While it impacted all his academics, math was the worst. He actually was about 3 years behind his peers in math. He scored in the bottom 10th percent of his peers on a normalized test. So, in other words, 90% of the people did better than him in math. When we were finally able to get Andy to begin to break those beliefs down and make those shifts, shifting from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset, right? It took some time for those to break, but once they did, the floods came. He, in 1 year, his eighth grade year, went from being 3 years behind and in that bottom 10th percentile to being on grade level and solidly average. And he did that in 1 year. But not only did that change, his relationships changed. He started having more friends. He actually bonded with one student in there, and when that student moved to New York, they kept in touch for years afterwards. That sort of relationship, and his relationships with the team, because he started performing or started competing in track and field. And he competed in track and field through high school. All of those things began to shift. Once he made those shifts and got rid of those limiting beliefs centered around his academics and math in particular, but that filtered out and spread out across all areas of his life. Today, he's happily employed, married, and he's got 3 kids, doing real well. Now, you might want to check out one of our other videos on this channel. One in particular would be, why is it important to have a positive mindset? And I also want to add that with all these videos, the more of these videos you watch, as I answer these questions that keep coming in, while the questions are different, there's going to be common elements throughout my answers. And it's important to pay attention to those common elements because obviously when I repeat them in video after video after video, answering slightly different questions, it will show to you the importance of that particular concept or that particular bit of knowledge. So once again, go check out our channel, take a look at the next video. Why is it important to have a positive mindset?